welcome to talk 3 of our nutritional series here at Get Fit Plus. My name is Alyssa Monteleone and I am with Simply Good Thinking. Over the course of the past 2 sessions, we talked a lot about water and cleansing with water, and then we started getting into greens and the value of greens in our bodies. So we're talking about everything and how it comes into us and how it benefits us. But one of the things that we didn't talk about yet, so I'd kind of like to flip things a little bit, is how the body and how we take care of our body affects how we're able to use what we put into our systems. So the body is designed to work very efficiently and very effectively. And everything that we do or don't do affects whether or not we are efficient and effective in how we use our nutrients and the nutrition and the food that we use, or excuse me, that we take in. And then all of that is also goes along with if we're active or not active, if you do this kind of thing, your lymph nodes are moving, all of your body's moving, things are being cleansed. Whereas if you lead a sedentary lifestyle, in addition to not burning calories, you're also not moving your body's not being jostled around. And so the cleansing effects of that movement aren't available to you. That doesn't mean you have to go and jog, a marathon in order to move around, but just moving a little bit every day helps. But right now we're going to talk about food. We're not going to talk about moving around too much. If you think of the body as a machine, one of the things that you can draw from that is that if you have a machine and it's really dry and it starts to get rusted out, then the parts don't move properly. So think of food as lubricating and fueling a machine. So you need gasoline, the fuel, and you need lubricant to keep the gears going. So think of your body in the same way. So you take in the calories and the water and all of those things to keep the body fueled for energy. And then you need to take in quality fats to keep things lubricated. When you do these kinds of things, there's quality involved as well. So, you're looking at fats as fat and fat as lubricant, right? So there's good fats and there's bad fats. And the reason why you have to consume the quality and quantity of good fats is for that lubrication. When you use those bad fats, they actually gunk up the works. So we'll talk a little bit about what the bad fats are, but right now we're going to talk about the cleansing. So cleansing your system is something that cultures have done for years and years. And it's just kind of something that happens naturally as the seasons progress. So if you look at cultures from a long time ago, in the spring, there would be things that would grow and they would naturally consume those things that were available to them. And a lot of times, I know you're not going to be surprised, but they were green. And so they would eat a lot of green vegetables. That's when your lettuces come up, your asparagus. Those dandelion roots I mentioned to you last time are very cleansing. So when you look at the fuel coming in, so energy, lubricating, and then also cleansing, keeping things cleared out and in top shape. So when it comes to cleansing, there's many, many different kinds of cleanses, and there's many, many different approaches towards cleansing. I think that philosophically the thing to remember about cleansing is that you want it to be part of a natural process and you want your body to be in charge of it. So from my perspective, when you go on a cleanse and all you're doing is drinking weird shakes or not eating for some bizarre amount of time, that's really hard. And there are benefits to it, certainly, but it's taxing on the body. And if you're really gunked up and all of a sudden now you have a big cleanse, all that gunk's got to go someplace. And so the consequences of those cleanses can sometimes be harsh on the body. A lot of people break out, they feel very fatigued, they can get cranky, they can actually go into depression because all of that stuff's got to go someplace. So I personally prefer a cleanse that's a little more subtle. It takes a little bit more time, but it's also something that you can do on a regular basis, and it's easy to maintain. So today we're going to talk about cleansing a single organ, which then affects all of your organs. And the organ that I've chosen is the liver. And the reason why I choose the liver is because, well, first of all, it deals with fat. And so a lot of us would like to maybe have a little less fat on our bodies. And one of the ways to achieve that is to have the fat be properly metabolized. And the liver is in charge of that process. So that's the number one reason, but there's many other reasons. Liver is also responsible for metabolizing proteins and carbohydrates. And the liver also produces what's called bile. And bile is then stored in your gallbladder, and then that bile goes in and metabolizes the fats in your small intestine. The liver also acts as the major filter in your body. So we're talking about that cleansing process. So you're taking food in, and it's breaking down in your stomach and all your stomach acids, and then it's starting to go through the digestive process. And all the gunk that you eat goes through the liver. And then also during that, during the metabolism of the food, we create our own toxins actually, and the liver takes care of those. So the liver's dealing with a lot of stuff, and in fact, there's over 400 things that your liver does for your body each and every day. Another thing that it does is it purifies our blood. You know, when you go and you give blood, you give a pint of blood, and you're like, that's a lot of blood. Your body goes through and cleanses 3 to 4 times that, 3 to 4 pints of blood a minute. Think about how long it takes to get that blood out of your body, and now that's pushing through your liver every minute, 3 to 4 times that. I mean, it's pretty impressive. Our bodies are really phenomenal, and I think that, you know, when you look at things that way, taking care of your body is like, you know, a really good idea, because it works really hard for us, so maybe we should take a little bit more time and work hard for it. And this really isn't that hard, so it's worth it. Okay, so just to review, the liver cleanses toxins out of our body, and there's 3 sources of those toxins. Metabolic waste that we produce ourselves, junk that we put into our bodies like caffeine, well, caffeine's not junk, but caffeine, alcohol, trans fatty acids, stuff like that. And then also all the environmental things that go on, right? So car drives by, toxins. Stuff in your water, toxins. You go and you clean something and you get all those fumes, toxins. I mean, they're everywhere. We can't help it. And in today's industrial world, I mean, there's stuff that we aren't even aware of that your body's dealing with on an ongoing basis. So keeping your liver healthy is a really great way to combat some of the things that we're not even aware of. Okay. So we're going to talk about how to cleanse the liver and keep the liver in tip-top shape. So I think that there's so many things I want to talk about. I got to like narrow it down. All right. So what we want to focus on are the simple things that you can do. We talked about drinking water. That's really great. We talked about consuming the greens. Those are really great things. Part of what we also want to talk about are the things that we're not going to take in so often, because those are the things that toxify the liver and make it work even harder, so it can't just do its regular daily job. Things that I think that would be helpful to eliminate during a cleansing period, right? So let's say you're feeling ready, that you want to perform a cleanse, cutting down on caffeine. Caffeine, and we talked about this last time, has pros and cons to it, but caffeine in excess definitely can be detrimental to the liver. And you have to gauge this for yourself, but when you're doing a cleanse, if you can limit yourself to 1 cup of coffee, or one source of caffeine a day, that's very helpful. Another thing is absolutely alcohol. Alcohol, again, red wines and beers have benefits to them, but when you're looking to cleanse your body and give your liver a break, alcohol is pretty intense on the liver. So if you can refrain from alcohol use, that's helpful as well. Sugar. Sugar is one of the most addictive substances consumed by certainly Americans and probably around the world. Refined sugar is especially tragic to our systems. So reducing, if not eliminating, any processed sugars is a great way to give your liver a break. And then even the non-refined sugars, you know, your maple and honey, well, they're refined, but they're in a whole form. So honey, maple, and even fruits, very much in moderation when you're trying to give your liver a break. And my suggestion would be to, we talked about low glycemic fruits in our last lecture. I think that that's really the place that you should focus when you're trying to work on cleansing out your liver. Would be a couple servings of a low glycemic fruit when you're craving something sweet, and really try to eliminate any other source of sugar. Trans fats. So now we're going to talk a little bit about quality of fats. Trans fats are, and there's, you know, a lot of science, and I could show you, like, you know, the way that everything looks from a chemical standpoint, but the main thing to keep in mind about trans fats is that hydrogenated fats that have been created in science labs as opposed to in nature, are hydrogenated fats. And they have to list them now on your labels. Thank goodness we now know where these things are. And so if it says trans fat or hydrogenated fats, honestly, just don't consume them. And I would really recommend that you don't consume them ever, but certainly not when you're trying to give your liver a break. Saturated fats come from animal proteins, and also there are some saturated fats in like coconut oil and stuff like that. Saturated fats are not in and of themselves bad for you, but in high quantities, they can be taxing on your body. So you want to just keep in mind where you are on the saturated fats, but certainly you do not need to eliminate them. You just need to be aware of them. Then we're going to get into the healthy fats. Sources for healthy fats: extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, which does have saturated fat in it, avocado oil, and then your nut oils. Again, you have to look at how these things are processed. So when you're reading your label, you want to make sure that they haven't been heated. A lot of your healthy fats have low, what's called a smoke point, which means that you can't heat them too much. If they start to smoke, so you're cooking and they start to smoke, that's too much, right? That's the smoke point. They actually can turn into harmful fats at that point. So olive oil actually has about a middle of the range smoke point, so you don't want to pour your olive oil in your pan, crank the heat up, wait for it to smoke up, and throw in your food. It's better to keep that at a low to medium heat. Really great cooking oils actually are butter. Saturated fat, yes, but they have a higher smoke point, so a little bit of butter is great. And sesame seed oil has a higher smoke point, and coconut oil. And all of these in moderation are very good fats for you. Another great source of fat are nuts, whole nuts, and avocados are amazing for quality fat. When you're looking to do a cleanse, however, your body, we talked about the role of the liver, and how it metabolizes fat. So when you're looking to give your liver a break, we want to really simplify the fats that we bring in. So I think that when you want to give your liver a break, for cooking, I use coconut oil in moderation and olive oil. And I really make sure that I don't overheat the olive oil. And then to not be heated is flaxseed oil. Flaxseed oil is very beneficial for you. I recommend 2 tablespoons a day, and never heated. You don't want to heat your flaxseed oil. So it's really great to make salad dressings, or when you, after you prepare your food, to pour it over. Some people even throw them right into, you know, a morning smoothie, because you need those healthy fats to help with your liver and help with all the other functions in your body. Medication is something that affects your liver quite a bit. So I by no means am suggesting that you don't take your medication. You certainly need to do that, and always talk to your doctor about those kinds of things, but just be aware that if you are on medications, all of that's filtering through that big filter in your body, which is your liver. And so just be aware that that's something that is happening in your system. Over-the-counter medications are something that you want to look in. When you're doing a cleanse, you know, you might not want to do it in the middle of allergy season, because if you really have to take some allergy medicines, you know, try to avoid painkillers and things of that nature. So things that you can choose whether or not you're taking, just be cognizant and try to limit those whenever possible. And then the other thing is actually not something that you should avoid or keep an eye on, but rather you need to take more in of, and that's fiber. And again, going back to our conversation about eating more fruits and vegetables, getting those greens in, they are great sources of fiber. And you need that fiber. You need to keep that body cleansed. So the additional sources of fire, yes, and then you'll be really hot, and then you won't have to worry about it. Additional sources of fiber going beyond fruits and vegetables. Flax seeds, ground flax seeds, are a very good source of fiber. There's also, and I always say this word wrong, psyllium. You can use that as a fiber. That's a little more gunky. They also have all these like weird fibers that like go away and you can't even taste, and they're just in the water. I honestly don't know enough about those fibers, so I'm not willing to comment on them, but it just does seem weird to me that fiber is a bulking substance, and if it's not bulking, then how does it work? I'm not a scientist. I don't know. I'm sure that there is plenty of research behind these things, but things that I do know that work are psyllium powder and flax seeds. Very, very well ground flax seeds. That's important. And I would do about 2 tablespoons of that a day. Again, you can throw that into a smoothie. You can top it off on cereal, but it's very healthy for you. And that's something that you can do all the time. Fiber's healthy for you all the time, but certainly when you're doing a cleanse, to make sure that you're taking in enough fiber. I think the last thing that I really want to talk to you about is the benefits that you're going to get from paying attention to your liver, whether you're doing a conscious cleanse or it's just lifestyle choices that you're looking to make. And again, number one thing is weight reduction. You know, when your body is metabolizing that fat properly, in addition to the proteins and the carbohydrates, which is the liver is also doing, you know, you're going to lose weight. Your body is using everything more efficiently and more effectively, and so you're not going to hold on to the gunk, and part of the gunk is that weight. Another thing is fatigue. You know, you get tired. Again, going back to the seeing your body as a machine, you know, if you're all gunked up, you're just not moving properly, and so you're beat and you're tired. You have no energy because your body is working so hard just to get through the daily functions of breathing, walking, digesting food, heart beating. You know, you just don't have anything left. So fatigue. Also digestion. Your digestion is going to improve. A lot of times, you know, when you're feeling bloated or you're feeling gassy, you know, your digestion is off. Fiber is going to be a huge benefit to your digestion, and that proper liver function. You know, it's using all of those calories efficiently and effectively, and so you're not going to have it just sitting there and, you know, your body waiting so long for it to do what it needs to do because it's all clogged up. We talked a little bit about moods and getting depressed. And so your liver affects your hormone levels. And so a lot of times when you've got a liver that's, you get moody and you feel down. You know, when you feel tired and you feel bloated and you know, are all achy all over the place, it's depressing. And you are actually, your mood is actually can be lowered by this. So you're gonna feel elevation of mood a lot of times. Joint pain, you know, inflammation is one of the biggest things that we combat in our society. And having a healthy liver is one way to definitely improve any kind of inflammation. And the first place that you're going to see that right away is in your joints. You know, you're not going to wake up as achy in the morning. You know, you won't feel like sometimes if you've ever felt bloated by, you know, too much drinking one night or a really big meal, and you go like this and you feel like pressure in your hands. I mean, that's inflammation. That's not the way it's supposed to be. So keeping that liver cleansed is going to help eliminate some of that. And the last thing that I think that you'll notice a difference is the quality of your skin. So your skin is the largest organ in your body, and it's the place where things go to express themselves. So if your liver is all bumped up and there's no place for all those many sources of toxins that we talked about to go, they're going to go to your skin. You know, places that people suffer with this can be their face, their back, their chest, but you know, it also comes through in different ways like eczema, psoriasis. All of those kinds of things are because something's not properly functioning and isn't able to express itself in the way that the body is intending, so it's erupting onto the skin. So you will see improved clarity of skin oftentimes, and even elasticity, signs of aging. You know, I'm not going to tell you that, you know, your gray hair is going to go away because you ate more fiber and all of that. I mean, I wish. But you definitely will see an improvement in your skin. So if that doesn't convince you to take care of your liver and really focus on the quality of the foods that you're eating, I don't know what's going to. But again, I'm always happy to answer any questions and get further into any of these areas. But that's it for today. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me today, and I look forward to our next talk.